So hey everybody, long time no hear from. Welcome back to another episode of Spiritual Gangster Certified. I'm your host, Illy Vish. This week is just me catching up, doing some talk about what we're going through currently, how best to deal with it, some of the things that I see coming, especially since Saturn is going into Aquarius soon, like in a week. And that's pretty much it. This week, just wanted to touch base with you guys because I have been on hiatus, been sick, not with coronavirus though, but sick enough where my voice was compromised and taken away in such a way that I could not even record. So thank you guys for joining us. Sit back, relax, and enjoy another episode of Spiritual Gangsta Certified. Hey, this is Illy Vish from Spiritual Gangster Certified, and if you haven't heard about Anchor and the fact that it's the easiest way to record a podcast, let me put you on. First of all, it's free, and we know we can't get any better than free. And it has creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or from your computer. And Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so you don't have to do any extra footwork. They'll send it over to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many more podcast platforms. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership, so tell me where you're going to find that. You can't find it anywhere else. So it's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. You want to make sure that if you want to start a podcast, that you go get the free Anchor app at anchor.fm to get started. Y'all. It is Illy Vish. This is Spiritual Gangster Certified, and it has been mad long since I have recorded an episode. Between catching some sort of plague, which was not the coronavirus, by the way, being sick for a month, losing my voice, sounding like a ghost fart when I tried to talk, and then all the madness that we've been under the influence of, like, whoa. How is everyone doing? I hope you guys are calm. I hope you guys are cool. I hope you guys are collected. Because we are living in some times right now that are not really encouraging any of us to be calm, cool, or collected. So, there's so much I wanted to talk about. Pisces season kind of just flew by without me really talking about a lot of the influence, especially with Neptune conjunct the Sun, which happened last week. Mercury stopping its retrograde, and it retrograded back into Aquarius and is now moving forward. There's so much, but I think one of the most important things to do right now as I record this is to essentially talk about what is going on with this virus. Now, as I'm recording this, Gemini's on the ascendant. I am in Philadelphia, so I don't find it weird that I felt the need to want to communicate, toss some ideas around, that I decided to do this right now. So, y'all, listen, I am not one of those people who is averse to conspiracy theories. Like, if anything, most things I feel like we can't prove that we believe anyway, so why would I basically shun someone for having an opinion or a theory about anything that would seem conspiratorial or whatever? Like, there's no reason to me, like, to be open to just about anything in this day and age makes more sense. Now, yesterday I did something that I don't normally do. I mean, I tend to read about things after they happen. I'm not one of those people who watches the news. I stopped watching the news years ago. Matter of fact, the last time I was watching the news, it was just like kind of a habit. When I woke up, I would watch this show called Good Day Philadelphia, which to me would tell me what the weather was going to be like and usually have some silly shit on it. It was not, I mean, they reported the news too, but like my purpose for watching it was not to engage in whatever stories they were throwing out there to scare people. It was more so just like my wake up routine. But anyway, so I watched the president's address yesterday. I gave almost 2 hours of my life to that. And I do want to mention that before I watched that, the day before, when the moon was in Scorpio specifically, especially when it just went into Scorpio, I woke up with this heaviness on me, like heaviness on me. And usually I kind of like when the moon goes into Scorpio. It sextiles my Capricorn moon. My bestie is a Scorpio moon. I'm intrigued by Scorpio energy. Scorpio energy is in my second house, so I appreciate it. I value it. But I just felt like this heaviness that I could not shake. It was like, it was on a level that like, I don't know. The level of heavy was just so like, it literally felt like a big dark cloud upon me. And it wasn't like anything personal going on. Like, it was a collective heaviness that I was picking up on. And this collective heaviness was like, you see, I'm having a hard time even finding the words to describe what I was feeling, because that's how off it was. Like, I don't tend to get these feelings, and I feel like my intuition has been super on point. Like, super on point. First of all, I know I'm jumping all over the place here. I hope everybody could keep up. I just had my Venus return Monday, and I just had my solar return on Tuesday. In my Venus return, Neptune conjunct the sun is in my 12th house. I'm an Aries rising for my Venus return. And it's like my intuition has just steadily been getting more and more like on point. My dreams have been lit. So when I woke up with this heaviness and this like kind of foreboding feeling, it's not like it was necessarily that I felt disaster was coming or anything like that. It was just a heavy, serious tone to stuff. You know, and I'm watching the president yesterday talk about all the different measures that they're going to take, drive-through testing sites that Walmart and Target are going to open up their parking lots for. The fact that he doesn't want people just random willy-nilly getting tested. The fact that he was just literally around someone that like came up positive for coronavirus, and he's like, yeah, well, I didn't think I should be tested. And then later in the broadcast changed it to, well, yeah, I'll more than likely be tested. Listen, I know a lot of people don't like Trump. I'm not one of those people that flips out every 5 minutes about him. Like, I really don't, because I feel like he's living his chart. Yeah, he's living his chart. He just is who he is. But I feel like there's more to all this. I've been watching and listening to different expert opinions on the virus itself. We have definitely not peaked. Definitely haven't even peaked with the virus yet. So it hasn't even really come to a head with, you know, as many people as it's going to infect. I just feel like, and this is just like my personal feeling, if you don't feel this way, that's fine. I'm not saying anybody has to agree with me, but I just feel like we are like tiptoeing into the realm of martial law. The country is going to probably be all the way shut the fuck down. And nobody's going to be able to go anywhere. Now, there's already a lot of restrictions, depending on where you live. I live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, They have closed schools already for 2 weeks. They have closed people's jobs, specifically in Montgomery County, where there is a plethora of new cases of confirmed coronavirus patients. A lot of the stores are closing. I did bulk shopping the other day. I did not act crazy and buy out all the toilet paper. I bought enough toilet paper for my household. But I just really feel like it's going to come to the point where they're going to have to force people not to go anywhere or to do anything. And I see that coming. Now, when I talk about what that looks like, I guess, let me go to, because we are in the very end of Saturn being in, we're at the very end of Saturn being in Capricorn. We're at the 29th degree. Now, by the 22nd, let's see, I'm going to get it down to the exact minute, because that's just how I be when I look at stuff. I'm going, thank you, Astro Gold. That's what I use in my phone. I have a couple of other things too that I can use to access charts, but I really like Astro Gold. It is just my thing. So let's see. Still going back. I was at the exact moment. Sorry. I be liking to have the exact moment that stuff happened. Seriously. So, Saturn is going into Aquarius. Saturn had been in its home sign of Capricorn since December of 2017. Now, I've talked a lot about that on this podcast. I've talked a lot about it in general, just because I look at Saturn as the daddy, the parent, the responsible figure in the zodiac. So it going into its home sign, I really did feel that we were getting set up for more of a heavy time where we had to definitely work in integrity, because if we didn't, we was going to be punished. Okay. So, Lord have mercy. That time frame, it was a testing time frame, I feel, for a lot of people. If you were doing what you were supposed to do, you were fine. If you weren't, you reaped some consequences. Now, Saturn, before we discovered Uranus, was also the ruler of Aquarius. And as crazy as that may sound, because you've got, Saturn ruling Capricorn, which is a cardinal earth sign. Saturn is about time, karma, structure, rigidity, rules, living in integrity, that type of thing. But it used to anciently rule Aquarius before we discovered Uranus. So in a way, Saturn going into Aquarius will also be at home, but this is a completely different expression of things. So March 21st, which is a Saturday, which is next week, okay, at 11:58 p.m. Eastern Time, Saturn will move into Aquarius. What do we know about Saturn and what do we know about Aquarius? Okay, I keep saying Saturn is the ruler of time, karma, structure, responsibility, rigidity. Aquarius energy is extremely focused on the collective. So just with that one keyword, collective, just with that, rules, structure, rigidity for Saturn, collective. That already has me sitting here going, something is going to happen that restricts the collective. Okay, that's the first thing that I thought of. Okay, no, I don't want to sound like I'm fear mongering or anything. I'm just being logical here. The thing about it is, in order to contain any sort of outbreak, I do understand that it does help to restrict people's travel, people's participation in things. People are losing their minds because sporting events, they canceled the NBA season. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. and to be fair, I'm like not some huge sports fan, so I honestly don't care. Like, it doesn't really bother me if I can't watch basketball at all. Like, I am not bothered by that. So I'm trying to be a little sympathetic towards people who are bothered by it, but to me it's like, well, what did you expect? Stadiums and arenas full of people when there is some sort of contagious respiratory disease out there probably isn't a good idea. Just saying. So, I mean, I know on another scale, a lot of things that I would want to participate in have been postponed and canceled and can't go on. And I mean, we just understand, but I don't find the timing of a lot of this, I don't find it to be coincidental. I don't already believe in coincidences. We're at the 29th degree, which is, I'm sure y'all have heard me talk about this before if you've listened to this podcast, okay? The 29th degree of any sign is a sense of urgency because we give each sign 30 degrees. We don't start with 1 degree, we start with 0. So from 0 to 29. The 29th degree of any sign is the last opportunity that sign has to express itself. So right now, because there will be a retrograde with Saturn by June, where, you know, Saturn will go back into Capricorn. But right now, with Saturn being at the 29th degree of Capricorn, I feel like, you know, there's this little bit of sense of urgency to, like, okay, let's be a little bit more Capricorn about our shit with this expression in Saturn. So I have noticed, you know, there has been a little bit of reaping because this was something that was discussed yesterday as I was watching people talk about the president's address. They feel, and a lot of people feel, like we did not take this seriously sooner. Now, granted, it's not as bad yet as it potentially can get, but as far as setting up testing, as far as having some sort of plan, you know, to kind of keep people, you know, out of places where there's hundreds of thousands of people and, you know, more opportunities to actually catch this contagious virus. You know, we should have started on this in like December. As soon as this came up at all. It's March now. A lot of people are feeling like it's too little too late. So I don't find it coincidental that, like, the powers that be, the government, which Saturn rules government, it does, okay, is at the 29th degree of Capricorn, basically, like, last ditch effort, sense of urgency all of a sudden now, to deal with better structuring things so that, you know, we can better handle this pandemic. But now we're going to talk about the 0 degree, because on March 21st, which is also traditionally it's the first day of spring, but this year it'll be the second day, because the sun will be at 1 degree of Aries by March 21st at 11:58 p.m. But the 0 degree of any sign, y'all, 0 degree is the first opportunity that a sign has to express itself, so it comes running out the gate. So, okay, basically what I'm saying is we went from too little too late. Now there's this sense of urgency to kind of get things structured and managed and handled. Let's be responsible now, you know, something that we should have did months ago. And then by the time Saturn moves to the 0 degree of Aquarius, I feel like things will be like a little out of hand. And that too little too late structuring that we tried to do at the 29th degree of Saturn being in Capricorn is now going to really impact the collective. Aquarius. Saturn, Aquarius. Like, I feel something coming, yo. I feel like we are really about to be a little bit, like, repressed, yo. And not that it's not necessary. And the thing about it is, I don't want people to be scared. I want people to be prepared, of course. Like, so many people, unfortunately, are going to be missing work. We don't live in a country where everybody gets or is due, like, paid time off. So this is hurting people's pockets. It really saddens me that people even have to go through that, because the average individual is not prepared for any sort of derailment of their day-to-day activity. You know, your work schedule, the amount of money you bring in is probably, you know, already allocated in a certain way to make your life work the way that it does. Like, these interruptions are so disruptive to, you know, people's quality of living. It really saddens me. And that is the part that bothers me more so about this than anything else. Then the fact that, you know, people have to actually contend with the sickness. When we're looking at the facts about it and the different things, yes, it does affect 50 plus individuals more, people with compromised immune systems more, which makes sense. But that is not to say that everyone is just safe. So on top of missing out on your money, missing out on being able to go to work, then there's the whole you may get sick thing. All of these factors can like kind of lead to some panic. And it's not easy to work through that sort of panic. I'm not even going to pretend that it is for a lot of people. I feel like if you've already got some sort of good bead on, you know, kind of isolating yourself, chilling, meditating a bit, taking things into consideration, you know, unto yourself, not flying off the handle, you're probably well equipped to deal with all this. Probably well equipped. But again, I said all this to say, I feel like the astrology of things does not lie. It really doesn't. And then the sun being in sextile to Saturn, when this all happens, remember the sun is shining a spotlight on something. So this will be a huge deal, I feel. It's shining a spotlight on Saturn and Aquarius. It is illuminating it. And sextiles represent opportunities, because that's air and fire energy which work well together. So what's going to happen, y'all? Like, just God, I hate to sound like the person trying to make everybody think about what is potentially going to be scary, but seriously, what is going to happen? Where are we with all of this? What is going on? I tell you right now, I intend to live life as normally as possible at home. I already do work primarily from home. I've never been happier to say that I do. There are so many remote positions and things you can do from home. Anyway, if anybody's interested, check out this website that vets everything before it posts it. It's ratracerebellion.com. From side gigs to full-time stuff, all types of stuff is up there. If you are so inclined to look. Again, that's ratracerebellion.com. But I don't want people to feel like they should be going stir crazy. I mean, for a lot of people, having to be in the house and not being able to get out and really have a lot of freedom does not make them feel good. Extroverted people that just feel the need to stretch their legs. I get it. But I am planning some activities for the Spiritual Gangster Certified community for the foreseeable future. A couple of them are going to be some courses or some workshops, I guess you could say, online to help you better understand your energy. And I feel like this is a good time to kind of go within anyway. So if anybody has been curious about their personal astrological energy, I'm going to be launching. I want to do it on the 21st, but I feel like that's going to be a day where a lot of big things happen. So I might move it out by a week to March 28th. That is yet to be determined. But I did an in-person event on Leap Day, February 29th, that has a similar theme. That one was called Leap Into Love. And this one is going to be called Spring Into Love, because I feel like loving ourselves is something that we have to do. Like, it's a necessity. You really can't function at your highest capability if you are not properly loving yourself. And everyone has different love needs and different love languages and different things that they need according to their chart. So this workshop is going to cover how you can uncover what your needs are. It comes with materials and everything for you to study in PDF form. So just wanted to put that out there to everybody. This will presumably be going down on the 28th. If not later. I will announce it soon on the Spiritual Gangster Certified page. But coming out of Mercury Retrograde, this is something I wanted to go back into talking about. Sorry to be so like all over the place. But there's just so much I feel like I have to talk about. We're still in shadow period. I know a lot of people, like, there's a collective sigh of relief, because, you know, they're like, oh, well, you know, the retrograde is over. And I get it. I mean, the retrograde began on February 16th at 12 degrees of Pisces. Okay? So, again, for explaining the shadow period to people, why I say the retrograde technically is over, but the effects are not. Okay? So, when Mercury hit 12 degrees of Pisces on February 16th, it started to appear to move backwards from our vantage point. It's really not moving backwards. This is just our vantage point on Earth. This is how it appears, okay? So it's at 12 degrees of Pisces, so it's moving backwards. 11, 10, 9, 8, all the way back to 0 degrees of Pisces. Then it kept retrograding back to 28 degrees of Aquarius. The retrograde motion of it moving backwards stopped on March 9th. Okay, so that stopped. So Mercury's now moving forward, but it has to go from 28 degrees of Aquarius all the way back up to 12 degrees of Pisces. That's what the shadow period, the second shadow period, is for Mercury, because it's recovering all the ground that it retrograded over. So literally what that means, people, is themes, situations, people, all types of stuff that popped up for you during Mercury retrograde is revisited when Mercury moves forward over all of that. So yes, the actual tangible challenges of Mercury going retrograde, with a lot of people having wonky things going on with electronics and communication and such, yes, okay, that direct period is over, but now we're going over things again. So I want people to look at things kind of this way. If you had some things come up for you to examine during the retrograde, especially because it was in Pisces for the most part, and Mercury in Pisces is an interesting placement. I have this placement natally and I have it retrograde, so this shit felt normal to me. Like, if anything, what it was having to deal with everybody else contending with this energy. But Mercury is more mental. And because it rules Gemini and Virgo, you know, these are signs that are based on thought and logic. So when Mercury finds itself in a water sign, particularly in Pisces, which is the opposite of Virgo that it rules, so it's a detriment here, its expression is a lot different, because Pisces wants to feel. Pisces wants to intuit. Pisces doesn't like details. Virgo loves details. Okay? Pisces is all open and flowing and, oh, let's accept all of this. There could be a deceptive quality to Pisces because of that. So it's like the expression of Mercury just in general in Pisces, even when it's not retrograde, is completely different and feeling based. And what I say to most people is, for me, having this position natally, I kind of feel like I am legit, like, understanding things through absorbing them. Like, I literally absorb things through feeling, and that's how I know whether I grasp certain concepts or not. Though this feeling is natural to me, I can only imagine how it's been for other people. So as Mercury is moving direct, it's like it's still in Pisces. It's still in a place where, it's less in its head and more in its feelings. So, what does that mean for you? What came up for you, feeling-wise, intuitive-wise, while Mercury was retrograde? Because it's being revisited again. It's being revisited all over again. So, you could look at this in a way as, some emotional debris. And I like saying words wrong on purpose. So, with my friends, I don't say debris. I say debris. I know that's not how you say it, but it's funny to me. But there's, random emotional debris being kicked up. So, stuff that you might have, had a glimpse at dealing with during the retrograde is going to come back up. And I feel like clarity will be a lot easier to have, as we move forward, especially by the time Mercury finishes its entire shadow thing, which it's not going to do until I think it's the 29th. I'm just checking. Let me see. I believe. Yeah. By March 29th, we'll be out of the shadow period of Mercury. So if you're feeling conflicted about anything, listen, and for most people, it's this pandemic that we're going through. I know we all probably have a lot of other personal shit we're dealing with too, but I mean, this is really impacting everybody's quality of life. I feel like we'll be a little bit more clearer by March 29th because Mercury will be out of that zone where it's just been kind of in a haze. It'll still be in Pisces though, but it'll be out of the retrograde zone. So some clarity will start to come to the fore for us about how we feel about different things, how different things look. We had a Mercury retrograde in Pisces last year too. Matter of fact, we had Mercury retrograde in all of the water signs last year. I feel like the one that was most potent for people was probably when it was in Scorpio, but I do remember, the one in Pisces being a little bit brutal for people too. I just want to remind people that these cycles of retrogrades, all the planets go retrograde except the sun and moon. We call the sun and moon planets in astrology. But all of these different things that happen, these retrograde periods are times to slow down and to kind of look within, and we need those. We are in need of them. They don't happen for no reason. Okay? So as much as people complain about the retrograde cycles, especially Mercury, because I feel like most people don't even realize that the other planets go retrograde. But as much as we complain about them, they are nature and the universe's way of giving us time to kind of take stock of things, slow down, reevaluate. Again, perfect time for the re's. But as we've come out of that, I want you to think about everything that has kind of gone down for you as far as your feelings since February 16th. From February 16th to March 9th, what was the shit that came up personally for you? Because you're not done dealing with it. That's how I look at it. It's better to be prepared. But I will be... Now that I have my voice back and I don't sound like a ghost fart anymore, I have some amazing collaborations and interviews lined up to put up on the podcast. So many different things we want to talk about, but I just really wanted to pop in real quick, tell you guys I missed you so much. Not recording just felt weird. And my thoughts are with the entire world right now. And I just wanted to take a minute before I go to kind of just give people some peace. And it's you are not going to encounter a single thing, even during this global pandemic, that you are not equipped to handle. There are no mistakes. There are no coincidences. However, in the face of fear, we need to be brave. Yes, I do believe that there is a benefit for the powers that be that control things or are in charge of things to kind of activate the fear within people, because fear makes people easier to control. Take back your power. Take back your power. Face things head on. When you can see things for what they are and take the fear out of it, you are therefore taking your puppet strings off and not allowing anybody to pull them. You are a powerful individual. All you have to do is tap into your power. Don't let anybody pull your strings. Yes, you need to be aware of what is going on. Yes, you need to be prepared for what is going on. But do you need to be scared? No. You don't need to be scared. Here's the thing. Fear prevents you from fully living in the moment. Because typically what we're scared of is something that hasn't even happened yet. So it's not even happening in the now moment. It's what could potentially happen. You can make a different fear scenario for every moment that you're alive and breathing in your head, specifically about a disease. There's so many things that you could let your mind race to cause to have happen and make yourself suffer unnecessarily. So to get out of the fear, let's stay in the now. What is there to be grateful for? What is there for us to embrace? What do we have control over? No, we don't have control over things closing. We don't have control over the different opinions that people hold about what's going on. We don't have any control over people buying up all the damn toilet paper. I get it. And that stuff is frustrating, but what do we have control over? You have control over your own body, your own being, your own spirit, your own mental, physical, and emotional health at this point. We don't think about this a lot, but a lot of things that go on with the body start with the spirit, start with the mind. Don't stress yourself out. It's important right now. The best thing I can stress for people to be doing is to be working on their immune systems. You know, besides the things that you can actually take to boost your immune system, a huge boost for your immune system is to reduce stress. Go onto yourself. Go into yourself. Meditate. Breathe calmly. Realize we're going to get through this. Everything's going to be okay. Those are things that are going to help you to get to a level of calm that you need to be. Because as long as that we're at this elevated level of fear and panic, we're not doing anyone any favors, especially ourselves. I'll be posting some things on the Spiritual Gangster Certified page that I've researched as far as things to help boost your immune system. I think that's an important thing that we can all kind of take the reins of control on. I know I do honey and turmeric. There's also elderberry syrup, which was very helpful to me, especially when I was sick. Deals and helps with inflammation. So there's a couple of other things I'll post about that, but seriously, your spiritual health is so very important right now. Even if you have to imagine some sort of bubble around yourself where no one is penetrating you spiritually, it helps. As a collective, we are in a grip of fear. As a collective, we're on our way to being restricted. Isn't it better to feel prepared and calm about this than it is to feel frazzled and all over the place? I'm telling y'all, seriously, my heart goes out to everyone, especially people with compromised immune systems or people who are older and are already sick. I can understand the fear that even lies there, but you gotta stay calm. It's going to help you overall. Breathe. Go like sit by yourself to get calm. Turn off the television. I'm not saying that you can't figure out what's going on and you shouldn't watch it. Like, I'm not going to tell people that. I don't want to be that guy. but stop obsessing over it. I catch a lot of flack because I'm like posting a lot of jokes right now. I personally feel like laughter is one of the things that has helped people through the worst of times. So I'm going to continue to post stuff that makes people laugh. But if you need to pull away from the panic, the best way to do so is to stop exposing yourself to it. Social media is full of it. The television is full of it. So disconnect. Read a book. Listen to some music. Watch your favorite movies. Watch your favorite TV shows. But unplug. Unplug. I missed you guys so much. I'm so happy to be back. And I thank all of you so very much for listening to another episode of Spiritual Gangster Certified. You've got to excuse me, I just had my solar return. I turned 40. Hey. And I'm also having my Venus return. Oh, my Venus in Taurus just wants to eat up everything. I'm just wanting to really indulge in things. So, my attitude is like, I'm feeling a bit more light right now. But I encourage people, like, do something that makes you feel good physically. Something good with your five senses. Venus is in Taurus right now, which is all about indulging, enjoying things with the five senses. Hug people you love. Eat some good food. Indulge in your favorite scents. Something. You gotta do something to counteract all this panic. Venus and Taurus wants your senses to be tingled. So think about that. I just want to leave you guys with that. Again, thank you so much for listening to another episode of Spiritual Gangster Certified. This is Illy Vish, and I'll catch you on the flip side.